Welcome to our explainer. Today we are diving deep into a really fascinating text called the 20th Word. It offers this incredible interpretation of the Qur'an, and it asks a pretty wild question. What if these ancient stories and seemingly small events actually contain a blueprint, not just for our spiritual lives, but for our technology? Let's get into it.
So, right off the bat, the text throws us into the mind of a skeptic. Think about it. Why would a book meant for all of humanity, for all of time, spend so much time on really specific, kind of strange events? An entire chapter named The Cow, angels bowing down to Adam, talking about rocks? How is that supposed to be universal guidance? Well, that's the exact puzzle we're here to solve.
You see, the author of this text doesn't just brush these questions aside. Nope. Instead, they start by laying all those doubts right out on the table, basically voicing the exact things a modern, skeptical reader would be thinking about the Quran's claim to timeless eloquence.
So yeah, these are the big challenges, right? The repetition of what look like minor historical tidbits, the focus on things we can't see, like angels bowing to Adam, and even getting into details about, well, geology. But the author says, hold on, these aren't weaknesses in the text, they're actually clues to a much deeper meaning. Okay, so how do we start cracking this code? Well, the first key the author gives us requires a total shift in how we look at these stories. We're told we shouldn't see them as just literal historical events, but as something way, way bigger that's actually been hiding in plain sight all along. And this brings us to the absolute core of the idea. The best way to think about it is like an iceberg. The story you read, the cow, the rock, the angels, that's just the tip sticking out of the water. But underneath the surface, there's this massive, universal principle, a kind of general law that applies to all of us. And check this out. This is where it gets really brilliant. The command to sacrifice a cow, it wasn't really just about the animal. According to this view, it was like a surgical strike against a deeply rooted false belief in a nation that literally worshipped cows. It's a timeless lesson in how you uproot a destructive idea. And the story of angels bowing to Adam, that's the tip of a massive principle about humanity's incredible God-given potential and our role here on Earth. All right, now we get to the second clue. And honestly, this is where the argument takes a really mind-bending turn. The author suggests these ancient texts aren't just about timeless principles from the past. They're also pointing to our future. They're like a blueprint. This quote right here is the heart of it. The argument is that when the Quran talks about the miracles of the prophets, it's doing more than just telling a story. It's actually throwing down a challenge. It's encouraging humanity to go out and achieve similar things, but through our own science and industry. So here's the crucial point. Each miracle isn't just a one-off event in the past. No. According to this interpretation, each miracle is like a signpost, pointing to the absolute final limit of what humans can achieve. It's marking the finish line for science and technology and basically daring us to reach it. Okay, let's get into the specific examples, because this is where this whole theory really starts to click. The author draws these incredible, direct lines from ancient prophetic wonders to the very technologies that define our world today, and maybe even our future. For instance, take Solomon's miracle of controlling the wind to travel huge distances in a single day. The text says this is a direct hint at aviation and high-speed planes. The miracles of Jesus healing the sick, that's seen as a divine challenge to modern medicine to find a cure for absolutely every illness. And David making iron as soft as dough, well, that's presented as the very blueprint for all of modern industry and metallurgy. And get this, for another amazing example. There's this story of one of Solomon's ministers who offers to bring the throne of a distant queen to him faster than the blink of an eye. Now, the text says this isn't just a cool fantasy story. It's a hint of what's possible for us. Just think about it. Bringing an object, or at least its image and maybe even sound, from a super far-off place instantly. What does that sound like? The author argues this is a clear nod to the very technologies we use every day. Television, FaceTime, the internet. It's as if the Quran was pointing to this possibility all those centuries ago. And believe me, the connections just keep coming. Moses striking a rock and finding water, that's seen as a push for us to explore and find natural resources. Solomon controlling unseen forces, a hint at harnessing hidden energies we haven't even discovered yet. Abraham being protected from fire, that points to us developing amazing fire-resistant materials. And then there's the ultimate one, Adam being taught the names. That's interpreted as the blueprint for humanity's potential to master every single science there is. So all of this leads to one huge final question, right? If this incredible blueprint for human progress is really woven into the Qur'an, why is it so subtle? Why is it all hidden in these hints and allusions and miracle stories? Why not just come right out and say it? I mean, it's the most logical question, isn't it? If the goal is to encourage us, wouldn't just telling us be way more effective? Why all the mystery? Well, the author provides a really deep philosophical answer that ties this whole thing together.
And the answer, according to this text, is that this life, it's an examination. It's a cosmic test, set up on purpose to create a kind of competition, a way to distinguish the noble, elevated spirits from the base ones. This world, in this view, is the testing ground.
And wow, the analogy the text uses for this is just so powerful. You put materials into a fire so the precious diamond separates from the common coal. In the exact same way, the challenges and the mysteries of life and religion are like a trial by fire, designed to separate out the different qualities within us. So here's the bottom line. If the future, including every single technological advance, was just explicitly laid out for us, the test would be over. It would be pointless. There'd be no room left for striving, for using our reason, for having faith, or for any kind of competition. If all the answers are written on the board, the exam has no meaning. Everybody would be forced to believe, and that essential difference between a spirit like a diamond and one like coal would just disappear. And so that leaves us with this final, really powerful question, which comes straight from the logic of the 20th word. If our entire journey of scientific and technological discovery is actually part of this grand cosmic test, then what is our progress actually proving about us? What are we showing, not just to ourselves, but on a cosmic scale? It's a completely different way to look at everything we've ever achieved, isn't it?